So, I have a fascination with identity and the ways that the human mind loves to attach and be able to box itself in. And yet, if you're like me and you are multi passionate and you are craving a limitless life, then the last thing you want to do is be boxed into one label or one career or one version of you for the rest of your life. And yet, this is something that we naturally do unconsciously without even realizing it. And even if we're aware, we sometimes don't know the intensity of how it's playing out. So, an example is when my brother passed away and I was 18 at the time, my entire identity had basically been crafted around him because he was my hero, he was my best friend. I just loved and adored him so much that I wanted to do things to be similar to him. Like I followed his path in sports. I just wanted his approval and his praise so much that I didn't really know who I was outside of the parameters of who I thought I should be to belong with him, right? And I saw this in another way with my parents because both of them had played university basketball. And I remember as a little girl, that was always the conversation from family or friends or other people when they'd come visit. And it was always this mention of their days playing university ball. And I realized how attached people get to the things that they do, right? Oh, I'm a doctor and I do this, or I've studied this, or I had success in this thing. And we just gravitate to identifying with that and creating our whole sense of self and sense of purpose around that one thing. The reason this is so incredibly limiting, though, is because you are actually a multidimensional being having a human experience, and you are ever evolving. If you are actually growing on planet Earth, you are going to shift and change. And it might not be crazy drastic, and it might not be as many ego deaths and life path shifts that I've had over the years, but it still is likely going to change. And the less attached you are to this one version of you that you think you are, or that you think you have to be to get approval or to fit in, the more freeing it's actually going to be for you. So I've had clients who have followed the exact path that their parents wanted, and they got the degree and they got the job and they got married and got the nice house with the white picket fence, and they had all the things that they had been told they should get and that were labeled as successful, and their whole identity was shaped around this perception. But internally, they were anxious, stressed, insecure, they felt unworthy, and they felt so misaligned because it wasn't actually what they wanted. And meanwhile, instead of living this one-dimensional boxed life, they were craving freedom, or they were craving a different way of expression or impact, or traveling the world, or just carving their own path their way. So a lot of the work we did in our time together was freeing themselves and freeing that identity, because when you've spent years crafting that, you do feel lost and confused, just like I did when my brother passed. And I was like, I don't actually know who I am, because I was just being who I thought I needed to be. And I had to relearn and connect deeper to myself and have really uncomfortable growth curves of saying no to things that I had been saying yes to, and saying yes to the path that actually made me excited. And with clients, it's the same, because they're having to potentially rock the boat with people who have wanted them in this box or in this label because it looks nice, or it's comfortable, or it's easy to explain, or it appears successful on the outside. But they actually are going through the process of liberating themselves to feel truly happy on the inside, instead of just having what looks good on paper on the outside. So the less you attach to one version of you, and the more you embrace your multidimensionality and set yourself free and do the energy healing, do the rewiring of your beliefs, allow yourself to start imagining again and being playful and creative and dreaming bigger of what you want your life to be. And this is going to change everything for you because it sets the stage for the new version or the next identity. And then you can go to the next one and the next one, and you get to constantly evolve and expand forward.